Guess what? I'm back! Can you believe it? After my summer break, I'm Paul, and I'm the guy who pronounces Dutch words and names the way a Dutchman would pronounce them. Now, before I start a whole new series, me pronouncing Dutch words and names, let me clarify a few things based on your comments. And lots of those comments came from the Netherlands, to my surprise, because I never thought any Dutch people would watch this channel. Because if you're Dutch, you already know how to pronounce words and names the way a Dutchman would pronounce them. You don't need me. This is more for people who are studying English as a second language or who've never heard Dutch spoken before. I mean, when's the last time you watched a Dutch movie without subtitles? Never. Or listened to a Dutch song? Never, right? So I'm here to set things straight and teach you how to pronounce certain words in an authentic way. But it's my way. That's why I say I'm Paul. I pronounce Dutch words and names the way a Dutchman, namely me, pronounces them. I'm not claiming I speak Dutch the way every Dutchman speaks Dutch, because that's impossible, because every language, as you know, has accents, has dialects, regionalisms, colloquialisms. There's so much that's very personalized based on where you grew up, the kind of education that you had, what social class you're from, that all influences the way you pronounce words. For instance, the way I pronounce the R. I'm from the part of the Netherlands called Friesland. Friesland is up in the north. We have our own language even, Frisian, but we tend to roll our R's. So whenever I demonstrate a word, I really exaggerate the rolling R so you can hear it. For instance, let's take a Frisian last name. The last name of Verwerda. Verwerda, very Frisian name. So I emphasize the rolling R. Why do I do that? Because I want you to get the point. I want really the R to stand out. Just like my piano teacher when she would demonstrate when I was a little kid, the difference between playing softly and loudly, piano and forte. She played very softly and then very loudly to make the contrast very big. Not to say that I should play with that huge contrast, but to demonstrate a point that she was making. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm not saying that everybody says Verwerda this way. No, it's just me showing off a little bit to help you get the gist of it, right? Because there's people in the Netherlands that say Verwerda. Verwerda. When I moved from the north of the Netherlands to Zandpoort, near Haarlem, everybody spoke with this R, Haarlem, Verwerda. And then later on I found people that say Verwerda. They said instead of the R or the R. And everything is fine. It's just my way of pronouncing certain words. There's no right way, there's no wrong way. Okay? So let's get it out of the way. When I pronounce words and names, I pronounce it my way, the way I've been brought up and taught, because I have been a newsreader and radio presenter for Dutch National Radio, and I was expected to speak a certain way, to be a model pronunciator for the entire nation. And if I would not pronounce words correctly the way people suppose they were assumed they would be pronounced, I got letters from my audience, and I got reprimanded by my boss because I wasn't speaking what they said was generally accepted Dutch. So let's just agree that there are many ways to pronounce certain words, and this is my take based on my upbringing, my education, and my profession that I used to have when I was still living in the Netherlands. And another thing I want to clear up is that I no longer live in the Netherlands. I've left the Netherlands 25 years ago. I live in Vermont, for Pete's sake, in the United States of America. That's why I started this channel, for my fellow Americans, and all of a sudden people from all over the world started tuning in. So, I've lost touch with the Netherlands a little bit. Of course, because I don't live there every day, but I still watch Dutch TV. I still listen to Dutch radio every day. Religiously, I watch Dutch news. So I like to stay in touch, but I've lost touch a little bit. Which happens, but this, for me, this whole channel is a reason to stay connected, an excuse really to stay connected with my Dutch roots, because I love to tell the world about what the Dutch have given the world, the impact the Dutch have made on the world. So the second misunderstanding is that this is really a channel about pronunciation. This is really a channel about all things Dutch, Dutch inventions, Dutch writers, Dutch celebrities, Dutch movie actors, anything Dutch really that you can think of that has had an impact or is having an impact on the world is something that I will cover. And I use the pronunciation as a doorway to open Dutch culture, Dutch technology, anything Dutch to you by means of pronunciation, okay? So, also, lastly, this is short format content. Short format content, so it means I have to be very compact, and being compact means that I have to pick and choose my information, which means I will always leave things out that you may think are super relevant. I used to blog. My blog took 10 minutes to read my blog posts. They never ended because I tried to be all-inclusive, and you cannot be all-inclusive. It's impossible. You have to make a selection. So I apologize in advance that there's not always things that you may deem essential that should be mentioned that I don't mention because of the time. Because I know that the longer I speak, and that's why I'm going to stop very soon, the longer I speak, the less people will watch this. That's the curse of social media. So I promise to keep things short and sweet. Okay, so I hope that cleared a few things up. If you'd like to subscribe to this channel, feel free. You can also find me on Instagram at The Nether Voice, one word, all lowercase, The Nether Voice. Same content. Or at Dutch Paul Holland, also on Instagram. And I'm on Facebook at Nether Voice. Same content, different channel, because you never know what will happen to this channel, to this medium, this social medium. But anyway, if you're interested and want to listen to a Dutch person speaking Dutch, the Dutch way, his way, stay tuned. And I do this every other day. The other day, I teach people who are learning English as a second language, about words and expressions they never bothered to teach me in school. So that's next. So I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Tot ziens. Bye-bye.